Howdy, friend. Heard my little broadcast, did you? Yeah, you look the type. Hang on. Ain't you the one that wiped out the Crimson Caravan's Vegas branch not too long ago? Ought to thank you for that. Knocking McLafferty out of the running gives Happy Trails a market to expand into. The job is simple. Help us get this caravan into Zion and find New Canaan. The pay is 25 caps per day. Half up front. You'll get a bonus if we make it into Zion. Plus another bonus if we reach New Canaan. Oh, one more thing. Don't mention the name Joshua Graham to anyone. Anyone. Just don't. It makes the New Canaanites powerful uncomfortable, and it scares the britches off the tribals. Don't talk about the Burn Man either while you're at it. Trust me on this one. It's for your own good. We're a smaller company out of Sacktown, up in the northern part of the NCR. We run some business through New Reno. They're on the Little Loop. Had a nice run to Salt Lake City too, but then we lost contact with New Canaan, and that went all to hell. You ain't wrong. Losing the Salt Lake City run really stung us. If we can't re-establish contact with this run, we'll be in real trouble. Without New Canaan's mission in Zion, the only ways to Salt Lake City are down the old I-80, or up through Ogden. The highway's too risky. NCR's rangers are so busy here in the Mojave, they don't have the manpower to keep the raiders off. Ogden's just too far. We'd lose more in travel expenses than we'd ever earn. Don't know much about the place, but I can tell you about the people. The New Canaanites were some kind of religious group from before the war. They control the old city of Ogden, a ways north of Zion, and they got themselves a nice defensible mission in the canyon itself. Or they did. They trade a fair bit with the tribes in Zion. Well, the ones that don't try to kill them anyways. I ain't a praying man myself. They paid for their goods and dealt square with us. That's all I ever cared about. But don't think that just because they're religious, that they're pacifists. They take care of their own, and they're damn fine marksmen, too. Nope. Hence this caravan. If we don't make contact with the New Canaanites, Happy Trails might as well just shrivel up and die. Well, I ain't never been inside myself. Did some trading with the New Canaanites from their mission there, but that was all on the outskirts. All the old ways in and out were destroyed after the war, but we got ourselves the location of a pass the New Canaanites use. That's our way in. That's why I wanted someone with a Pip-Boy on the caravan. The map will be helpful for checking the topography, keeping us on the trail. Well, it ain't good, I'll tell you that. It's not like the Mojave or the NCR. Hell, even Arizona under Caesar is safer. You got raiders all over the damn place. Tribes of degenerates that'll eat you as soon as look at you. Regional warlords, the works. Not too many decent places to stop and trade. New Canaan's one of the only ones left I know about. They're about what you'd expect. Crazy, jacked up on chems, violent as hell, and not too bright. The worst of the 80s, but we won't be passing through their turf on this run. That's right. The folks that lived in Zion before the war, they didn't just get a little savage. They're downright feral. Most of them don't even speak English anymore. You've got to get yourself a New Canaanite translator to talk to them. The ones you really gotta watch out for are the Whitelegs from the Great Salt Lake. They'll attack just about anyone that ain't one of theirs. Dangerous enough we won't be going near them if we can help it. I got no desire for my head to decorate some little gas station fort's walls, thanks. Yeah, reckon you will.
Looking to join this caravan, huh? Look to me like you can handle yourself. Earning my keep. Jed hired me on as a caravan guard for this expedition of his. The work suits me. I've tried staying put in one place, but it never works out. Grew up in New Reno, and I couldn't put that snake pit behind me fast enough. Then I wound up wasting the prime of my life playing sheriff in Caliente. Little town north on the 93. Talk about a pain in the ass. You ask me, best to keep moving. At least the scenery changes. Imagine New Vegas if there was no Mr. House-type fella keeping the peace. Then give everybody a gun and a jet addiction. Town's run by a bunch of crime families. No law to speak of. Make trouble and you wind up buried in Golgotha outside town. The scuzz factor's off the charts. Non-stop whoring and drugs. Couldn't walk down the street without getting asked to star in a porn movie. So I got my ass out of there while I still owned it. Guess I figured the answer to every problem was rule of law. Naive, huh? Place lived up to its name, that's for sure. When you got fresh water and a trickle of geothermic power, always be some gang of assholes wants to kill you for it. Spent more years and took more bullets than I care to admit protecting that hellhole from dangers within and without. If it wasn't the 80s or the white legs raiding, it was someone from town drunk off his ass trying to win an argument with a shotgun. Got tired of shooting the folks I was supposed to protect. So, now I do this. What's the difference? Raiders is raiders. Bunch of them swept into town and dragged off 2 working girls. Deputies and me gave pursuit. Straight in. By the time we caught up with the girls, there wasn't much left of them. So we turned for home. Made it back to Caliente without further losses, but we was watched the whole way. Never seen so few people cover so much land. Goddamn creepy. If the 80s had wanted to kill us, we would have been dead. Used to be they raided northeast of Caliente time to time. But then the Desert Rangers fell apart 10 years ago, absorbed into the NCR. Soon enough, the Whitelegs were swarming all over that stretch of I-15. Folks learned not to head north if they wanted to keep their scalps. Eventually, the Whitelegs destroyed the bridges across the Virgin River over in Arizona. Catch you another time, then.
The NCR took back Nelson.
Prim as a new sheriff.
You looking for trouble, bud? I got plenty to spare, so watch your ass around me. Hey, hey, hey! Fuck you! I didn't say nothing about using Psycho! God damn it! I didn't say nothing about using Psycho. But, just talking hypno-theoretically here. Got any suggestions? All right. I'm a little light. How many hits you holding? Three hits? Like that's gonna hold me. Fine, I'll take them. I travel light on purpose, okay? But if the price is right, I'll tell Jet I'm carrying less, so you can carry more. What's your offer? You got a deal. You're lucky he trusts me. Nice job, Eagle Eye. Of course I got a pit boy and a vault suit. So what? Where the fuck you think? Vault 2-2. That's where I grew up. Oh, you've been to Vault 2-2, huh? I may have been exaggerating a little. Truth is, I got this suit and the pit boy off a dead prospector who came out from Zion. Guy was dead when I found him, okay? Had a ton of shit on him. That's how I know there's good loot in Zion, see? Sorry. The shit I do with it is so far over your head, be wasting my time to put it in words you could understand. Basically, it makes me badass. More badass, I mean. It's totally mind-blowing shit. It ain't just some bracelet. Know what I mean? Jed says it's got maps and shit like that. So that's how I'm gonna guide this caravan where it needs to go. Not that I didn't know all that already. Huh? Of course I noticed. First thing I noticed about you. Me? I'm so you. Bullshit! Ain't nothing wrong with my pit boy. I mean, Pip Boy. Look, this is a sweet gig for me. Don't go fucking it up. What are you after anyways? Fine. Just keep it to yourself, all right? Don't be such a fucking jerk about it. You want to know what I do, bud? Anything I fucking want. I'm one of a kind. I've been places, see? And done things. Lots of them. And when it's time to kill shit up, something or... In fact, that's my nickname. Deadeye Ricky. That's my name. How you think? I shoot things in the eye. That's how good I am. Yeah, I'm that good. Why, once I got jumped by 3 death jaws. Except, actually, it was 4 of them. Imagine that! But I didn't panic. Because I never panic. What I did was become a storm of death. Shot every one of them monsters pop in the eye. No, you heard me right. Death jaws. They're like death claws, but bigger teeth. Or there was the time one of them Steel Brotherhood assholes made the mistake of messing with me. Last mistake he ever made. What's it sound like I'm saying? If I was saying what you said I was saying, then yeah, I said it. I was walking along, minding my own, and up pops one of them Brotherhoods. He yells, "Hand over that laser rifle, asshole!" So I hand it over, just to make him think I'm scared. But really I'm not. I never am. Before he knows what hit him, I draw my 11mm machine gun and bam, bam, right through the eye slit in his helmet. DOA. There so is. Or was it a 9mm? Or a 10? I don't know. Don't care. Said I was good at killing shit up. Never said I was good with numbers. Well, I grew up near Dayglow out west, so yeah. I grew a third nut that glows in the dark. Yeah, whatever.
Maybe they can win this war after all.
Gangers away.
Are you here to join me? Are you now? You know we ain't coming back. I don't want no wine. You sure you're ready now? You ain't never been to Zion, have you? A big pack will get you wedged in like a super mutant crawling through a storm drain, and too much weight will kill you in the thin air. You sure about that this? Well, all right then. Let's get moving. We got a long road ahead of us. The paths we're following are slow going, so you might as well keep your ears open and listen to what old Jed has to say. A few decades back, folks in the NCR started to hear about a community in northern Utah called New Canaan. Didn't know much about them, except that they were religious folks, sent out missionaries to talk to the tribes. We've seen our share of cults, but the New Canaanites, they were honest traders. Good fighters, too. Raiders wouldn't tangle with them. But then, the Legion appeared in Arizona. I reckon you know all about them. Turns out Caesar's first war chief, the Mal-Pace Legate, was a New Canaanite, Joshua Graham. Legend goes that Graham was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch in the whole damn Legion. The New Canaanites wouldn't talk about him, They were ashamed. Guess I can't blame them. Well, at Hoover Dam, the mal-paced Leggett finally met his match. Hanlon and Oliver kicked his new Canaanite butt right back over the river. Caesar had to make an example for the others, to show them that even at the highest level, failure wouldn't be tolerated. He had Graham covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon. People say he didn't even scream on the way down. Not long after, some of the slaves and tribals started to talk. Said Graham wasn't dead. Shouldn't have been any surprise. All this talk bothered Caesar, so he forbade anyone from speaking his name. Wanted to erase Joshua Graham from history. He got his wish. Joshua Graham disappeared, and in his place came legends of the burned man walking the wastes. Probably just a tribal ghost story. But New Canaan's been silent for a long time. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the mal-paced Leggett is dead. Or maybe Joshua Graham did crawl out of that canyon and finally found his way back home. All right, people. Been a long couple of weeks, but here we are. Zion. I know your feet hurt. I know you're tired, but I need everyone's mind on the trail ahead.
Ain't the trail ahead worries me, Jed. Those descents we made through that slot canyon back up there. Ain't no way we're getting back out the way we come. And then what?
God damn it, Stella heard you the first time. And the 15th, too. The new Canaanites will know a way. And if they don't, we've got the maps on our friend's Pip-Boy over there. Enough lollygagging. Get moving. And keep an eye out for tribals.
Sorry to bother you with reality, old Jed. Who cares if we can't get back out the way we come? That's not a problem.
Fuck off, I'm busy.
Shh. Hold on now. God damn it, ambush! Cover people! Watch yourselves!
I don't deserve this! My Pip-Boy don't deserve it! Why the fuck you hire me?
Holy shit! Stay low, people! Stay low!
Here I come! I was a sheriff once, goddammit!
Stella! No. You die on me, woman.
哎呦！靠北全部死是怎样？全部死是怎样？
Hoi,
他是好的、
white
哦。
legs don't leave survivors often. You're some kind of lucky, let me tell you. You came from outside, didn't you? From the civilized lands. Wow. Joshua will want to hear about this. Joshua Graham. He leads our tribe. Thanks to him, the dead horses are strong and safe from our enemies. He'll want to talk to anyone coming up from Southways. Guess that means just you now. Come, I can take you to him. Good sists. We head east then. Joshua is at our tribe's camp in the Eastern Virgin.
Oh, 同伴。
What can I tell you? Mostly it's the mountain bighorners. Whole herd of them up on the cliffs there. Usually they're not too aggressive, but lately, whew. My guess is one of the calves got lost somewhere along the way. Bighorners are communal. One missing calf, and the whole herd gets ornery. If that calf... Yeah? Hey, thanks. Just one thing. Try not to kill any bighorners if you... You might try luring the baby out with some banana yucca. These bighorners go crazy for the stuff. That's great. I'll help any way I can. What can I tell you? White legs. Nasty bunch. They've been raiding deeper into... That's what Joshua said. White legs came down from Great Salt Lake in force. Joshua found some of the survivors led by a man named Daniel. Most of them have fled the valley. He and Joshua have been arguing over whether to stand and fight. That's the weird part. Normally, the White Legs keep to the Great Salt Lake. I don't know what brought them down there. What? Our advanced scouts leave chalk signs to mark places rich with game. I'm not a full scout yet, so I follow the marks and guide the hunters. Dead horses mark ourselves to commemorate our hunts. When a hunt... We came up in the land of the dead horse, though why the back when folks called it that, I got no hint. We raided, we fought, we lost. Our enemies drove us back into Zion, and we... When Joshua first came to us, he was servant to a man he called Caesar. He led his master's army. Then he lost his master's army to a tribe called NCR, the Sunset People. When he returned, he led us away from Caesar, led us to our own destiny in Zion. If it wasn't for Joshua, the dead horses would still be the whipping boys of the Zion Valley. He taught us how to hold our territory, to protect ourselves. He guided us away from Caesar, and showed us... Little bit. I met some of their missionaries a few times, but I've never been to their city. Joshua could tell you more. Or Daniel, I imagine. We decorate our clubs with them to honor Joshua Graham. They were the weapons of his old tribe, so now they are our... Can't say they seem that... Only a little. I was very young. He was... different. Prouder, yes, but harder. When he came back, I almost didn't believe he was the same man. Well, because they're our enemies. What else would we do? They take our land... He's been the chief of our... I don't know. He doesn't talk about it much. Ha! Really? That's... my gods. Must be some... Now you sound like Joshua. You sure? Well then, let's get to trading.
"天使洞穴，司马部落营地。
Hold up. See that log over there? Take a closer look. There might be some good stuff tucked in there.
是。还是一样烂。
We follow this path for a while. Nice view of the river. Eh. Please. Whew. That was some kind of lucky. Guess that one was all full of gecko, eh? Don't get used to it, though. Yaoguai are plenty mean as a rule. What can I tell you? You can take the path north here if you want,
向北。
or head east over the ridge. There's a nice view from the top of that cliff, if you want to look. These paintings show the dead horse's victories against other tribes. Lots more of them since Joshua came to us.
哇，帅耶！怎么画的？
Here we are. Joshua's just ahead there, in the Angel Cave.
Hoi. Auslander Zuka Joshua Graham. Show respect, Auslander. Joshua Graham, greatest war chief.
Yeah, that.
Good.
We should have given you a better welcome on your first visit to Zion. But from what I hear, the Whitelegs beat us to it. Whitelegs seem to be the only visitors we have these days. And I wouldn't have expected anyone from the Mojave to come looking for us. And you're a courier, no less. Not the one I was expecting. but I suppose he wouldn't have come with a caravan. I don't know if you were close to the other members of your group, but you have my sympathy. I pray for the safety of all good people who come to Zion, even Gentiles. But we can't expect God to do all the work. Happy trails. I remember. They were good friends. I have bad news for your employers. New Canaan was destroyed, its citizens scattered. All because of the Whitelegs. And Caesar, of course. The Whitelegs want to join the Legion. Caesar's rite of passage is the destruction of the New Canaanites. Almost assuredly because of me. The good news is that we can help you find your way back. Daniel, one of the other New Canaanites, has made many maps of the region. The bad news is that we can't help you right now. You're a good neighbor to us. We all go through periods of darkness. Daniel and I need pre-war tools to help us navigate beyond Zion. Should we need to evacuate? Normally, we would have some of the dead horses or sorrows look for them. But many... The sorrows believe in a spirit that lives in them. They put special marks around the cave entrances to keep people out. It doesn't work on the Whitelegs, of course. Thank you. Follows Chalk. He's inexperienced, but he knows enough of our language to ignore the taboos about Welcome back. What can I do for you? Caesar would never admit this openly, but he knows that I'm alive. I've killed enough of his Frumentari and assassins that have come looking. I've heard one of them travels the Mojave as a courier. Most of Caesar's agents meet a fitting end in NCR territory, but maybe this one survived. I think that would put him and you in a difficult position. Caesar has agents looking for me, but he won't admit I'm alive. And even if you killed me, he can't acknowledge that. To do so would be to admit I had never died, that Caesar made a mistake. No, he lives by... I am a New Canaanite. We believe we are the heirs of a... We have made and kept covenants with our Lord God to honor his laws. In exchange, we are promised eternal salvation after this life. A day will come when our Lord returns to judge us all. Until then, we must honor his laws and start others along the path of salvation if we can. That's why we trade with others and work the tribes. We have more than food and medicine to offer. Good news is our most valuable commodity. In a world filled with misery, every day we move closer to our judgment. For many of us, the road is a difficult one, but the path is always there. Every day. Someday. I wouldn't say that. I am the acting war chief for the Dead Horses. They look up to me for such matter. Daniel is the spiritual leader and main link of the New Canaanites to the Sorrows. A great deal. There are 4 tribes here in Zion. In this camp, you'll find dead horses. In the Narrows, the Sorrows. They attack everyone who isn't a Whiteleg, especially caravans. They don't know how to survive on their own, so they have to... But as for why they are here, they want to join Caesar's Legion, and they can... Most don't. It's been hundreds of years since the war. Take the Dead Horses. We think they were originally... They speak a combination of Res and a language spoken by travelers who were visiting Res. I was a translator years ago, but it's hard to keep up with all of the tribal variations. The valley belongs to God, but no. The Dead Horses live at Dead Horse Point, up the Colorado River. They came here because before I returned to I taught them how to hunt more efficiently, how to maintain. The Sorrows have many skilled hunters among them, but no war. Even though they can hunt a full-grown Yaoguai, they don't know how to deal. We wear more clothing than them and understand more about technology. The Boneyard, Phoenix, New Vegas, they're just places, metal and stone. When the walls come tumbling down, in the Great Basin and Colorado Plateau, all Whitelegs are known for their big submachine guns, storm drums. Of course, the dead horses have their wooden war clubs, and even the Sorrows have their Yaoguai gauntlets. This type of .45 automatic pistol was designed by one of... We do, though the Whiteleg, all forms of... Right now, I'd like...
You are the one Joshua Graham sent to us. Blessings of the Father in the cave on you. Daniel is waiting for you. A Sorrow's Yaoguai fist is a sacred symbol. It shows that we belong. Each Sorrow, our shaman, White Bird. Waking Cloud is my name. I am midwife to the Sorrows. The children and the old have already been evacuated from the camp. They are safe enough, unless the Whitelegs come. I tend to other hurts and sicknesses that afflict our tribe. What would you... Daniel is a wise man and a great friend to the Sorrows. He taught me to speak the language. Yes, the language of the New Canaanites is the Holy Tongue, for it is the language their sacred books are written in. The Father in the caves brought it to them after the judgment, but the ancestors of the Sorrows sinned against him. They were denied the true tongue. 6 years. He attended the birth of my third child. It was a hard birth. The river nearly carried my water to the Father, and my child's with it. Daniel knew the ways of New Canaan's medicine. He stepped in and saved both of our lives. After the birth, I asked Daniel if he would teach me what he knew of childbirth. We have dwelt in the Narrows since the end that came in fire. When the Father in the caves punished the world and made us forget the Holy Tongue. We have had good relations with the other tribes in the valley. At least before Salt Upon Wounds brought his Whitelegs here. We have Daniel to thank. I do not know. He is war chief of the Whitelegs, and the worst butcher of them all. Have you not heard of the god of the New Canaanites? He is our protector and our judge. He helped our ancestors find their place. He gave us many gifts, but we are not to seek him out. His... Perhaps you do not fully understand the New Canaanites. I have seen the Father's images. His holy bride and holy son were given unto the world to save it. They dwelt in the caverns of the mountain. The people sinned against him and were... I'm sure...
The dead horse has told me details about the attack on your caravan. A stranger's sympathy might not count for much, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The Sorrows will mourn your friends too. They mourn everyone, even the Whitelegs. They have sensitive souls. Innocent, if there is such a thing. In spite of what's happened, I hope that Joshua and I can help you out of here. But to be frank, we need your help too. Well, I'll be. I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant. Letting go of a taboo is difficult for them. So I knew it would have to be. These supplies are a godsend. But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more White-Leg attention, I need you to go. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for Whitelegs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east. There's also the matter of the roads. We're going to be heading out of the east side of the park, but I'm not sure the way is clear. I appreciate the enthusiasm. There aren't a lot of people in the wasteland with kindness to spare for anyone who isn't kin. Since you've been poking around the valley, you might see one of the Sorrow's hunters, Waking Cloud, has volunteered to help guide you through the valley. After this, it's just a matter of getting everyone out of here safe and sound. And hopefully, you can head back to the Mojave without any more trouble.
Daniel said that I was to travel with you until you have completed your scouting. Is this pleasing to you? Certainly.
I'm glad to see you're still with us. If you could part with it, healing powder would be welcome. We have enough stim packs for now, but we can't. Brock and Xander plants can be found. I used to help the Sorrows with various medical problems and general issues they were having. We New Canaanites believe that there is a path to salvation for everyone, and it's important that we set people on that path if they are willing. A spiritual wasteland, yes. We believe that during our time here, we have the burden of choice. New Canaanites believe, as many once did, that God was made flesh here on earth, as a man. Every sin, every terrible thing that you, me, or any one of us have done for all time. That's why we visit the tribes, to spread the good. That's actually a better response than I usually get from Wastelanders. No offense. Tell you what, there's a lot going on right now, but if you have questions, assuming we get through all this, there's an old saying that goes, if you want peace, you've got me figured half right. I'll shoot dead any White-Leg that tries to creep into this. The Lord helps those who help themselves, but the Sorrows don't know how. There is an important difference between killing in defense and waging war. Joshua is a living Bible of all mankind's miseries of war. The debt he has levied through his actions, he repays every day. He is a monument both to God's unending forgiveness and to humanity's unfathomable capacity for cruelty. When you look at him, do you only see a man of God? Joshua wants to fight because the Whitelegs have stoked the naked flame inside of him. You see the light, but do not yet feel the heat. I can pray that you never will. But it isn't up to me, and it isn't up to God. It's up to... They're hateful savages who live only to plunder and destroy. Their leader is a devil called Salt Upon Wounds. War is all he knows. It's said there's no man deadlier at close range. Maybe that's true, but so what? It's a low form of leadership. A tribe that... Oh, right. He's some spirit the Sorrows used to believe. They marked some of the caves around here because they think... I think as more of them learn the teachings of the new Canaanites, they'll lose their old superstitions. Oh? Oh. Of course. How stupid of me. They probably... No wonder they picked up on things so easily. I guess it just... Ah, that's great. Your generosity is... well, I just can't thank you enough. Until...
Katubiu. I do. A fine husband and 3 children. I miss them each day, but I take comfort in knowing they are safe. When we learned that Salt Upon Moons had defiled Zion with his presence, Daniel ordered the children, the old, and the sick evacuated from the camp. My husband volunteered to lead the hunters that went with them for protection. I try not to worry about them, but we have had no news for so long, and Daniel seems sad when I ask him about it. Sad and a little frightened. Perhaps he will. Battle is not...
I'm glad to see you're still with us. How can I help? What do you want to know, exactly? I'm sure she could tell you much better than I. Oh, well, that's true. Waking Cloud is a talented midwife. She certainly brought more children into the world than I have. But there are some problems she's never dealt with. One of them came up when she was having her 3rd child, and I really didn't do much. I'm surprised she mentioned it. I did. Her 3 children are safe. They made it north weeks ago and met up with new Canaanites heading east. Her husband didn't make it. He died protecting their children from a White Leg attack. Do not tell Waking Cloud. She's one of the only Sorrows who can communicate easily with us, and her tribe needs her to be strong right now. To everything, there is a season. That's not an easy thing to be. I don't like doing this. But I can't see any good coming from telling Waking Cloud her husband died. You'll do what you'll do. I won't try to stop you. I'd ask only that you consider the repercussions of your actions. Until then.
Katubiu. What? No. You must be... How dare... Perhaps I will...
By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept, when we remembered Zion. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, and the... O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy shall he be, do you... The Whitelegs didn't just force my people out of New Canaan. The elderly, the ill. Daniel believes that if we leave, if the Sorrows leave, the White... Then you must bear witness of this revelation to Daniel. We both desire a non-violent solution to them. Speak your heart to Dan. Welcome back. He's a butcher. Believe me, I know the godless fire that burns in his heart. He's not the kind to let his subordinates do all the killing. No, he likes to have a hand in it. He's fashioned himself in a... It's not something I enjoy. I was born in Ogden, what people came to call New Canaan. Things were more peaceful when I was growing up. When I was a young man, I went out into the world to do missionary work, as I traveled along the Long 15 and followed 89 south into Arizona. Along the way, Edward Sallow and Bill Calhoun. They came to teach the tribes. Calhoun was a good man. Edward was the one who got us into trouble down the road. No, not then. Back then he was just Edward. Smart man. Young, but we all were. We thought we could hike into the Grand... We did. And the Blackfoots were friendly enough at first. Something must have been mixed up, because the Blackfoots decided we weren't going to leave. The rest is history. This way lies the path to hell. Caesar needed me to translate. Translation became giving orders. Giving orders became leading in battle. Leading in battle became training, punishing, terrorizing. A series of small mistakes before a great fall. And I stayed in that darkness until after Hoover Dam. After I failed Caesar and he had me burned alive, thrown into the Grand Canyon. I survived because the fire inside burned brighter than the fire around me. I fell down into that dark chasm. The flame burned on and on. The next morning, I woke up and crawled out of the northern edge of the Grand Canyon, that cursed place. It took me 3 months. It was as though the prodigal son had returned. They welcomed me like I had never left, never done anything to shame them. The fire that had kept me alive was love. Their love. God's love. I will never be able to repay the debt I owe to them, but I must try. I try not to involve myself with matters of the Mojave anymore. Better than Caesar, but that's not a high step. Any society that derives its... I had heard of him, but from what I've learned since Hoover Dam, he handled the Mojave tribe. Love the sinner, hate the sin. I can say that we were both lucky that NCR supply lines and land routes north of Mojave Outpost were destroyed before the battle. Something bad happened near Death Valley, at a place called the Divide. Terrible storms ripped entire companies apart before they even got to Nevada soil. The aftermath of... I don't know for certain, and I don't think NCR knows either. Our Frumentari told us what they saw. Only fools and madmen would march. They said all that's left there is a gaping wound. Not all of them, but they couldn't take 127 North to get around. As if Death Valley weren't enough, they had the Divide and Big... From what the Legion's explorers reported...
I'm glad to see you're still with us. I appreciate it. Well, that's it. This is all we need. That's assuming that Joshua won't try to stop me. And that he hasn't talked you into fighting the Whitelegs despite what I've said. Don't worry, I don't hold it against you. You're a...
是战还是撤？
Welcome back.
Unless you and Joshua have any objections, I'd like to start. No.
Why?
Why? Why?
Why?
Haven't you seen enough of what's going on here to see that what Joshua wants is more than an attack? He wants a slaughter. The Sorrows can't be pushed into this. No. This is how we make it. Joshua must be waiting for it.
Why? 我们就是要大杀特杀。
Thank you for this. I know Daniel doesn't approve, but destroying the Whitelegs, you and I will lead. Our objective is to find the Whitelegs. Show no quarter to the Whitelegs we come across. We warned you at Syracuse, and you persisted. You took advantage of us at New Canaan to drive us out.
啊，原来他
And
还
like the
活
dogs
着，
of Caesar you
因为
are,
他死了。
you followed us to Zion. And now you stand on holy ground, a temple to God's glory on earth. The only use for an animal in our temple is sacrifice. Kale wachane conserva o. You understand?
Whoa. Outman. Kunaman mad. He killed all Whitelegs. You talk. You stop. Him hear you.
Don't listen to this thing. His cries. He never had any, but for your sake. It's the same end he would have met if he had died on his knees. I suppose this was for the sake of the dead horses and sorrows.
哇，
Still,
4500
thanks to your help and the grace of God, the Whitelegs will be troubling Zion anymore. Let's go find Daniel. Tomorrow we'll be here soon enough.
And so it was that the conflict between the New Canaanites and the Whitelegs was finally resolved. The courier's involvement had tipped the scale, shifting the fragile balance of power.
Despite their defeat at Three Marys and the death of their war chief, the Whitelegs were determined to pursue the other New Canaanites. But when they finally tracked down their prey in Colorado, they discovered the tables had been turned. The Whitelegs who survived the New Canaanites' ambushes were hunted down by dead horses before they could reach the safety of the Great Salt Lake. When word of the Whitelegs' diminished numbers reached the 80s tribe, war was declared. And by year's end, the Whitelegs had been wiped out.
The Sorrows fought beside Joshua Graham and the dead horses. eradicating the threat the White Legs posed to Zion. When the courier and Joshua Graham felled Salt upon Moons, their victory was celebrated with a great feast. The Sorrow's transformation from a peaceful, timid tribe into a proud and warlike people
热衷暴
broke
力，
Daniel's heart.
靠背。
He tried to take solace in the knowledge that they would remain in Zion, but it was a small comfort. The Sorrow's innocence was lost.
Having helped eradicate the White Legs from Zion, the Dead Horses returned to Dead Horse Point in triumph. They remained neutral toward the Sorrows, but as years went on, there were periods of competitive friction, even violence between the tribes. The new Canaanites, Daniel especially, intervened regularly as mediators, but found it difficult to reconcile the tribe's conflicts.
The defeat of the White Legs in Zion marked a turning point in the fortunes of the Happy Trails Caravan Company. Every 2 months, the caravan met with the new Canaanites in Zion Valley to trade. Happy Trails soon returned to prosperity. The vigilance of the Sorrows and Dead Horses in defending southwestern Utah, initially startling to Happy Trails caravans, soon proved a blessing. The tribes united against the 80s, driving them back from Highway 50, and thus opening yet another trading route for Happy Trails caravans.
Waking Cloud was distraught when she learned of her husband's death, but took comfort from her tribe and the compassion of the new Canaanites. She forgave Daniel for having concealed her husband's fate from her, and learned to accept his fate. When her grief faded, she took a husband from the Dead Horse tribe. At her bidding, he stayed close to home.
Though the courier had stopped Joshua Graham from executing Salt upon Moons, the war chief still fell in battle. The White Legs defeated at 3 Marys. Joshua led the Sorrows and Dead Horses in tending to their comrades and burning the corpses of their foes. He continued to advocate militant opposition to the enemies of New Canaan, and showed little quarter to those he fought.
怎样
And yet he
变
was
独裁者？
changed. He no longer reveled in the brutality and cruelty for which he had been known in his former life. His inner demons, if not extinguished, were at the least
那不错啊。
appeased.
For years after the
哦，
defeat
丹
of
尼
the
尔
White Legs,
最难过。
Daniel did his best to minister to the Sorrow's spiritual needs. Try as he might, he could not hold back the tribe's increasing militancy and reverence of Joshua Graham. Demoralized, he returned to his family in Dead Horse Point. His failures haunted him for the rest of his days.
And with that, the courier walked out of the history of the tribes of Zion and back to the gathering storm of the Mojave Wasteland.
伤口撒盐哦。暴击加2，清新加5。丹尼尔的帽子，丹尼尔的外套。暴击加3。
Unless you and Joshua have any It may be. I hope it is. Even knowing that, it's a risk I have to take. We'll be traveling it, but if it's the only way to delay.
Daniel must have made it to the tunnel by now, but there are Sorrows all.
foolish.
哎呦，不管怎样还是会打到他。
Please, have you done everything you can for the Sorrow? You've done more than...
And so it was that the conflict between the New Canaanites and the Whitelegs was finally resolved. The courier's involvement had tipped the scale, shifting the fragile balance of power.
After the Whitelegs drove the Sorrows from Zion, they celebrated by destroying all traces of the valley's former inhabitants.
Huh?
They appealed to the Legion for assimilation, but were denied. Their failure to eradicate the New Canaanites in Grand Staircase and farther up the Colorado had not gone unnoticed. The Whitelegs made a half-hearted effort to find the New Canaanites, but were driven off by dead horses trained in the ways of Joshua Graham. The Whitelegs lost all hope of joining the Legion and disintegrated into a number of petty raiding bands, leaving Zion Valley a polluted cistern.
Daniel succeeded in leading the Sorrows out of Zion, as he had wanted to do from the start. The courier protected the Sorrows during the evacuation, ensuring that most reached their destination unharmed. Over the weeks and months to come, Daniel would see to the Sorrows' resettlement in Grand Staircase. Their adjustment to their new home was not without difficulty, but eventually, the Sorrows came to accept the loss of Zion.
Having helped Daniel and the Sorrows escape from Zion, the Dead Horses returned to their home at Dead Horse Point. The tribe continued to learn from the New Canaanites, and over many years built a flourishing community along the banks of the Colorado. Though the tribe's bond would endure, it was Joshua Graham's legend the Dead Horses would revere, not the tenets of New Canaan's faith.
Already weakened by several seasons of bad trading, the Happy Trails Caravan Company was initially discouraged by the results of its expedition, the fate of New Canaan, and the evacuation of the Sorrows from Zion made the prospect of trading seem fruitless. When Daniel told his family about the exploits of Happy Trails employee the courier, however, New Canaan decided to repay the company's kindness. Twice per year, New Canaanites made the dangerous journey west to trade with a company in the city of New Reno. The Happy Trails Caravan Company could not survive on such trading alone, but the New Canaanites' generosity made tough times go easier.
Waking Cloud turned bitter and resentful toward Daniel and the New Canaanites when she learned her husband's death had been concealed from her. She poisoned some of her tribe against New Canaanite teachings, making relations between the groups difficult from time to time.
After leading the Sorrows from their home in Zion to safety in Grand Staircase, Daniel continued to wonder if he'd made the right choice. He spent his life evangelizing the beliefs of his people to a new generation of young men and women, as his ancestors had for centuries before him. He was happy with his family. But for the rest of his life, there were nights when he awoke with sadness to find he had been dreaming of Zion.
And with that, The courier walked out of the history of the tribes of Zion and back to the gathering storm of the Mojave Wasteland.
这个结局真不好。